How do you calculate notional operating profit after tax? We take our controllable operating profit and make 3 types of adjustments. It is very important to know these 3 types of adjustments because quite often in your exam you are asked, please explain the adjustments you made. So you will need to say, we did that because we need to convert profit and loss items to cash. We did that because we need to capitalize marketing. We did that because this is an unusual item and we need to exclude it. So there are 3 types of adjustments. Why? We want to convert profit and loss to cash. So let's say we exclude such items as increase in bad debt allowance because profit and loss items are subjective. So PL is subjective. And also, we need cash to pay dividends. So cash is more important. Cash to pay dividend. And also, this minimizes dysfunctional behavior. This is debatable topic because you can ask for your supplier, for example, for a customer to pay you in December so that you get more cash. So sometimes they say that it minimizes dysfunctional behavior, but it's debatable. Then we need to capitalize marketing, HR, and research and development costs because these are costs that will bring you the benefits in long term. So we will capitalize them and then we will depreciate them or amortize them. And we exclude unusual items such as business reorganizations. We do that. And that is something that is called a limitation or drawback, or, well, this is what is being criticized. It's because we can exclude these unusual items, but they impacted on how much cash we have. So if we do that, then our economic value added actually diverts from that cash. So it's a debatable topic again. So notional operating profit after tax depreciation. Let's look into the adjustments one by one. We take controllable operating profit. So it's going to be operating, so before your finance cost, operating. And it's going to be controllable. Controllable means that it is the profit that relates to the division. If we calculate for our EVA for division, and well, if it's for the company, then it is for the company. Then we take accounting depreciation and add it back. So what does it mean? Well, depreciation is an expense that reduced our profits, and we add it back so that our controllable operating profit will be more or less like earnings before interest, tax, and depreciation. Then we add back increase in provisions. Why? Because increase in provisions, for example, your bad debt allowance is an expense. If you increase your bad debt allowance, or, for example, provision for vacations, for unused vacations, you record an expense. And we say this is a P&L item. No cash inflow or outflow happened for this entry, so we need to take it back. So we add it back. Then we say advertising, research and development cost, and employee trainings are those expenses that bring us long-term value. So we need to capitalize that. Capitalize that means that instead of recording it as debit cost, debit expense, credit cash, we will record that as debit asset, credit cash. So instead of having it as the decrease of operating profit, we will transfer that to next year capital employed at the beginning of the year. Well, we will look at capital employed a little bit later. So we add it back. Then we add back operating lease payments. This is a tricky part. So look, you know that leasing, that if we lease something, we as a lessor, well, actually, if we lease something, for us, for the person who gets an asset, there's going to be a single way of accounting. So we will recognize right of use asset, and then we would also recognize a liability, we will depreciate right of use asset, and so on. But we need to acknowledge the fact that ACCA is for many countries. And some countries use their national standards where they do not do that recognition of right of use asset, but instead they recognize lease payments as expense. So as they used to do that long ago. So if they do, then we capitalize that. Well, why? We say that it's a long-term expense. In practice, in past exam, I did not see examples of operating these payments being tested, and I don't think that they will because of this tricky thing. And we add back all non-cash expenses. So we want to find operating profit, which is more about cash. And then we need to deduct economic depreciation. What does it mean? It means that after we added back accounting depreciation, we did not just add it back and think that we just use our equipment for free. No, we say, let us calculate depreciation in more fair way. Let us calculate depreciation and amortization by the factors of how we actually use that. So economic depreciation. Decrease in provision. So if a provision is decreased, then this means that we have debit income in our accounting, but it's a non-cash income, so we need to deduct it. Then we need to charge amortization for advertising, research and development, and employee trading capitalized. But important thing that when we amortize them, we take that that's a capitalized asset at the start of the year, so under January 1st, well, if it's a normal year, not those that were capitalized above, not those, because this will bring you benefits later, but those that were capitalized in previous year, unless there is some tricky stuff in the scenario, which you will see. Depreciation of operation lease payments. So if you capitalize lease payments, now you are depreciating them based on your expectance of using that asset. And we deduct tax paid, including lost relief on interest. We will make an example a little bit later. Well, what is logic? Well, actually, we need to calculate, or we start with operating profit. But we do not need operating profit. We need operating profit after tax, notional operating profit after tax, because our shareholders get money after tax. And therefore, we need to deduct tax. And we take tax that is not in profit and loss, but was actually paid. But we say, look, we had finance cost in P&L. And finance cost in P&L, so our interest that we paid to the bank, they reduce the amount of tax that we were supposed to pay. But in our formula, we have weighted average cost of capital. And we do remember that in weighted average cost of capital, we have tax shield. So when we are going to take that value, that cost of that, we will multiply that by 1 minus tax. So this in fact means that if we take full amount of tax paid, then we will duplicate that tax relief on interest. That's why in here we will need to make an adjustment, and we will make an example. So please do not worry, it's absolutely logical that you do not know how that works. So you just need a little bit of practice. Okay. Up. Okay. Now, again, why did we do that? Why did we do all this adjustments to our operating profit? This is because we want to calculate actual wealth to shareholders. And therefore, these adjustments, they say, okay, shareholders, they need cash, not only profits. You know, the problem is that profits and cash, they can be really far away in time. So we will get revenues today and we'll get cash only in a year, for example, if we have big projects. So instead of making our accounting on accrual basis, when you record incomes and expenses, when there is an effect that takes place, we want to approximate it to cash-based accounting. So that's why we take away P&L items and record cash items. And as for capitalization and then amortization of advertising, research and development and employee training, we said that these expenses, they should not be expanded. They should not decrease shareholders' value in the current year when we calculate it. Instead, these expenses, they bring us long-term benefits. So we need to capitalize that. So this means that we need to account for intangible asset that is never recognized under IAS 38, but it is an intangible asset because it will bring us benefits later. And then we will amortize that based on expected usage. Well, you will make examples, so please do not worry. Okay. Also, we need to note, as I said, that interest is excluded from notional operating profit after tax because interest costs are taken into account in the capital charge in our weighted average cost of capital.